I am so excited to be here today because I want to talk to you about something that I'm very passionate about, which is helping people managing their fears and how to better take care of themselves. And it's quite ironic because really I did not learn how to manage my own fears and how to take care of myself until I was in my late 30s. And I was a therapist. But before I continue, I would like to thank you, Aisha, and United Way, and also Maria for having me today, and all of you who are joining me. Thank you so much. Thank you. Um, my name is Kyncl. I am a licensed psychotherapist and a certified health coach. I started my career as a therapist helping individuals dealing with emotional difficulties. However, I later learned that talking about problems was not enough. There needed to be physical support, diet, exercise, and self-care. With this holistic approach, I empower people to make better choices for themselves. And so what's going to happen in this presentation? Today, I will share with you a few stories and 5 tips on how to embrace uncertainty and better take care of yourself during the pandemic. So let's get started. Before, I just wanted to, I know this is a very difficult time for all of us. And we're all dealing with this pandemic in one way or another. Some people are dealing with job loss, fear, and uncertainty, and now the elections. I mean, what a proper day to have this presentation. Others are dealing with loneliness, isolation, depression, and anxiety. As a matter of fact, last year, I after working for so many years in different community centers and family agencies, I decided to open my private practice finally, and I had the hope that expand my practice, make it much bigger. And unfortunately this year, because of the pandemic, I had to give up my office. My youngest daughter was starting college, and I was, gonna be an empty nester. Well, 3 weeks after starting college, the school closed. So now we're here, we're home, no plans. And so yes, a lot of changes, a lot of plans. And so I'd like to hear from you a little bit. Why are you here? What uncertainties are you dealing with? Anything specific, you can put it in the chat. How are you dealing with this? What uncertainties are you dealing with? And I want to hear a little bit, because also throughout my presentation, I want to make sure that I get to cover maybe perhaps some of the issues that you presented. So why don't we just take a few minutes, and if you can just put it in the chat.
So we are all in listen only mode today. So please feel free, everybody, to communicate, answer the questions, interact in the chat box as Luz directed. If you want to share any uncertainties that you're having, just click the 2 box and click all panelists and attendees. So I see some answers coming in today. I see someone says that an uncertainty that they have is adjusting to change.
Adjusting to change. You're not alone. You're not alone. A lot of changes, that's for sure.
I think an uncertainty that I have that I'd like to share is probably just feeling uncertain, not knowing what's going to happen next, and feeling that like lack of control, not knowing what to expect has been causing me some anxiety for the past few weeks. For sure.
I can imagine, yeah. I feel a lot of uncertainties right now.
Someone says they're uncertain about the future of living in America. That is a very relevant one. A very relevant one at this time.
Yes, right now we're dealing with a lot of changes. That's, a lot of uncertainties, a lot of fear is going to happen. Anybody else?
I don't know if people are texting, but it may be taking some time to come in. But I think those are some really big ones that people shared.
Oh, can you put the screen in there? I have a screen. Maybe if they see the screen might be a little bit better. It's number 5. Right there.
So if anybody knows someone who has been affected, whether by COVID-19 or anything else that's been happening this year, if there's anything specific that you would like to share in the chat, why are you here and what uncertainties are you dealing with that makes this training relevant for you today?
Or are there any things that they want me to cover? I mean, I'm covering a lot of things today, but I just want to make sure that I have that in mind. So to address it a little bit. I know, like some people mentioned, adjusting to change. Mentioned a lot of feeling uncertainty, not the need to be in control. And
they're afraid of the fear of the unknown. When will things go back to normal? The normal we once knew before the pandemic. And someone says they've been dealing with adjusting to not traveling to see their family and having a sense of loneliness.
A lot of loneliness, yes. Fortunately, depression has gotten worse since the pandemic because a lot of people are dealing with the fact that they cannot see their families or getting together with their friends, having their normal life, what is called normal. And yes, and also the anxiety. One major thing of anxiety is not being able to be in control. And there's one thing that certainly we're not in control with right now is the what's going on in the world.
All right. I think those were the ones that people were sharing.
Okay. Anybody else would like me to address some specific thing throughout any concerns that they might have that maybe they want me to focus on throughout the presentation?
Someone says it's scary times. They had a former employee just passed away from COVID, others too, and more have COVID currently, trying not to live in the fear. And someone says they want to maybe hear about how to go about creating new normals. Because the normal that we knew it's gone, right? So
correct, yeah. We'll definitely talk about how to adjust more than, adjust and and trying to fit in now and to adapt to this new normal.
I think those are some good ones, guys. Thank you so much for sharing, everybody.
Thank you. So thank you very much for sharing, and I'll definitely make sure that as we go through this presentation, I can address some of your concerns. But in the meantime, why don't we deal with this together? Some of your concerns together. Aisha, you can move into the next slide. I would like to start with a 3 minutes breathing meditation to help us all be more present in the moment. You can use this meditation anytime you feel overwhelmed or just more centered. Every time you're feeling overwhelmed and you just want to feel more centered and peaceful. So I will invite you to just notice your posture. So important. When people are anxious or depressed, they tend to hunch forward. cutting off their breathing, making it more difficult to relax. So just pay attention to bringing your shoulder back, just like you see in the picture, and down, and notice how that feels. Now I will invite you just close your eyes, or you can look down, whatever is more comfortable for you. Let's just notice your shoulder, back and down. Uncross your legs and check to see that your feet are firmly on the ground to help you feel grounded. Okay? Now, taking a nice deep breath in through the nose and the belly for a count of 3. And out through your mouth for a count of 3. Another deep breath in through the nose and the belly for count of 3. Hold for count of 3. And breathing out through the mouth for count of 3. Another very deep breath in through the nose and the belly for count of 3. And breathe out through the mouth for count of 3. One more time together today. Breathing in through the nose and the belly for count of 3. Out through the mouth for a count of 3. Then, when you're ready, open your eyes and come back to the room. Aisha, you can move it to the next. Thank God for meditation. I started doing meditation a few years ago to help me cope with my own fears and uncertainty. I grew up in a household filled with alcohol abuse, domestic violence, and child abuse. I did not feel safe in my own home. My father was an alcoholic with violent mood swings. So I never knew where the next blow was coming from. So I was always afraid to be seen or speak up. Seeing so much violence at such a young age, my early view about myself and the whole world became completely distorted. If I was not safe in my own home, how could I feel safe anywhere? As an adult, those fears continued. I was also living a misplaced life because of the stories, negative thoughts I believed about myself as a result of my experience. Things will never get better. The world is a dangerous place. No one is to be trusted. It was not until a few years ago that practicing meditation along with other helpful tools interrupted that story of how I saw myself and the world and helped me to look at the world in a more positive way by recognizing my trauma for what it was, a past experience that was no longer real. In my head, it was real, but not in reality. So when I recognized the threat was no longer real, both mentally and emotionally, it helped me to redirect my energy and focus on the good things happening right now in my life. The great American author, Zig Ziglar, said, fear is nothing more than false evidence appearing real. Fear is nothing more than false evidence appearing real. Fear is all about what if scenario. What if I lose my job? What if I catch COVID? And if I lose my job, then I won't be able to feed my family. So I don't be able to, I will be homeless. This is a lot of negative what if scenario and negative thoughts. 86% of all self-talk is negative, especially when under stress. And people get stuck in negative patterns and think things will never get better. Aisha, can you put it into, I think we're now in slide 10. So I had to change that inner self-talk and focus more on the present moment and all the great things in my life. I was a survivor. I was in a home and a relationship where I felt safe, loved, and protected. My life was no longer in danger. I was living in Beverly Hills, one of the safest cities in the world. I had so many positive things to be thankful for. And I know that the pandemic has made us all feel less safe. We have so many uncertainty, fear, and right now, around 20 million Americans are out of work, and more than 1 million people worldwide have died from the coronavirus. So if you still have a job and you're alive, then you're one of the lucky few. And despite all the material things you may have lost, you're still here. Still here. You got a pulse. You got this. Psalm 118:24 says, "This is the day that God has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it." That means that every day you're here is the best day of your life. And if you don't believe me, try to miss one. Try to miss one. And that attitude of faith is also what got me through a few years ago when I got sick, because really worry can make you sick. And just so you know, I started the presentation backwards. Meditation was one of the tools that I used as part of after I got sick. So, you know, and the truth is, like I said, that fear, worries can make us sick. It happened to me. I ignored my health and I got sick. A few years ago, I was dealing with a debilitating illness, which caused me to be in a lot of pain, psychologically and physical pain. I could barely sleep or walk. My white blood cells were completely depleted. As you might know, your white blood cells are what helps you fight infections. The normal range is above 4,000. Mine were below 100 because I did not have any white blood cells. I was constantly sick with lots of infections. I had organ failures and chronic rheumatoid arthritis. I had to take so many drugs to keep myself alive with horrible side effects. I remember one morning I was in the shower. I was rushing, you know, to get my kids ready. I was gonna go, I was in the shower just thinking about, you know, how I have to go and see another doctor, thinking about I have to drop off my kids, cook dinner, do the laundry when I come back, and I was running late for all of it. And as I rinsed the conditioner out, a huge chunk of my hair fell to the bottom of the shower. And as I looked at it, my body started shaking. I couldn't breathe. I was terrified. I was having a panic attack. I started to cry and wondering, God, how much more can I take? Up to that point, I kept my illness a secret because I was afraid that if other parents knew, they would not allow their children to play with mine. I kept pretending I was okay because my children needed me, my work needed me, my husband needed me, but inside I was falling apart. When my hair started to fall out, now my illness was coming outside and I could no longer hide it. I remember wondering if was how my life was going to end. I had 2 young children. I did not want to die. So I decided this is not how my story, my life would end. Deep down, I knew that God did not bring me this far to leave me. So as I watched my hair clog up the drain of the shower, I knew that it was time to try something new. I had to explore alternative medicine, listen to my own intuition. And it's quite kind of, I don't want to say funny, but up to that point, I had seen so many specialists, so many doctors, and they really couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. And so I decided to trust myself, not everyone else. And that was my aha moment. So I finally admitted to a friend that I needed help. And so she gave me the name of this holistic healer. I remember going and see him right away. I had nothing to lose. And really up to that point, I, like I said, have gone to so many doctors. I was just desperate. So I had tried anything. So I went to the holistic healer. And I remember when I went to see him, he took one look at me and said, in a strong but smooth voice, if you want to heal, you need to start taking care of yourself. That is your cure. Self-care. Aisha, I think you can wait till I think we're like in slide 13. Self-care. That was my cure. But it was not that simple. It's never that simple, is it? As I said before, I grew up in a household filled with alcohol abuse, domestic violence, and child abuse. It was never about self-care. It was about survival. And I survived. I had a family. I had a job. I was also a therapist at that time. So I spent my whole life listening and fixing others, but never paying attention to my own needs. The great motivational speaker, Les Brown, said, nothing can stop you if you're determined to learn and grow. So one of the first things I learned was to make myself a priority, which many of us women don't do, but we need to do. I also had to improve my diet and lifestyle, and that completely changed my life. But most importantly, self-care helped me to change the story of how I was seeing myself, hearing myself, and it taught me how to love myself, because really there's no self-care without self-love. So once I got completely healed, I wanted to use what I have learned to help others to improve their lives. So I started my own business, Luz Kyncl, psychotherapy, mindfulness, and health coaching, to do just that. I think we're now in 14, Aisha. So what is self-care? Self-care is really, it's simply an attitude that says, I am responsible. I am responsible for myself, for my health, and for my well-being. And I make sure that my needs are met. This can be very hard now, especially now during the pandemic. So I like to now hear a little bit from you. How are you taking care of yourself? How are you coping? Aisha, we're not in 15. Yeah. How are you coping with the pandemics? What are some of the things that are working out for you? Maybe we can share, though the people might be able useful as well. Slide 15, Aisha. No, 15. How are you coping with the pandemic? Right there. Thank you. Take a few minutes here just to.
So somebody responded and said that their coping is through exercise.
Beautiful. Yes. And that's one of the things. Very nice. Anybody else? What else? How are you coping with the pandemic? What are you doing? By the way, I'm baking more and drinking more, so it's okay.
Someone said keeping up with their doctor's appointments. One
Yeah.
person said they're exercising, morning walks, continuing to connect with others via Zoom and phone calls. Someone said, I think accountability and talking to family or close friends can certainly help, and even sharing with coworkers too. Another person said long walks with their dogs. And then someone says trying to rest and eat better, though not always successfully. Same. Reading, relaxing when I can, and staycation.
Very nice. Yeah, those are great tips, by the way, especially those morning walks.
Someone says praying and studying the Bible more for her.
Brian, it's definitely a major one. Yeah. Good. Somebody else? How are you coping this pandemic? Or even the election right now? Are you kidding me? How are you coping with that? That's a major, major uncertainty.
Someone says staying in a regular routine, getting outside, yoga, and exercise.
Beautiful.
Someone says, I don't watch the news. That's their coping.
Yeah, watch the news. Very good. I have exercise, morning walks, constant phone calls, eat better, long walks with dogs, reading, relaxing, praying and studying the Bible, going outside, yoga and exercise, don't watching the news. Anybody else? How are you coping with the pandemic, mentally, physically, spiritually?
Someone says they use music.
Yes, great.
And another person says, just knowing we are not alone and this too shall pass.
This too shall pass. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Nothing lasts forever. That's true. This too shall pass. Actually, that's also one of my mantra. This too shall pass. Great tips, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Really, really good.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Thank you guys so much for sharing and contributing.
Yeah, thank you so much. As a matter of fact, I think you all mentioned the ones that I had in mind. This is great. This is good. I'm glad that some of you are actually doing those things, especially now. It's like now we definitely need to be mindful of how we protect ourselves, because we are living in uncertainty time, that's for sure. And it's a lot of things happening at the same time, so we have to make sure that we protect ourselves, we take care of ourselves. And these are really great tips. And so now I'm just going to share my, anybody, sorry, before I continue, I just want to make sure that, is there anything else? No? Okay. So these are great. And now I'm going to join into my 5 tips. And these are some of the lessons I have learned during this journey. And I share more in my book, Liberate Yourself. Your past is now your present. So, and you also mentioned, some of you mentioned that the first one, Alicia, you can switch the, protect your mind. That's the first one. And by that, I mean, be very mindful of what you choose to watch, read, and listen to. When people are under a lot of stress, they tend to get stuck, like I said, in negative beliefs and think this is never going to get better. Negative news makes it worse and also makes you worry a lot. When you worry, it weakens the immune system because you will not sleep well and your body needs sleep to recharge. Getting good rest is very, very important to helping you stay healthy, physically, emotionally, and mentally. Another part, also protecting your mind, is who are you socializing with? Are you socializing with people who are encouraging you, motivating you, or draining your energy? So be very mindful how you what you watch, what you read, what you listen to, and who you socialize with. Number two is give yourself a break. Give yourself a break. This lockdown is unprecedented in our lives. You have to acknowledge this. And it is okay to be afraid. I mean, this is time we've never had to deal with this before. And it's okay to be afraid. Actually, the Chinese believe that crisis stands for danger, but also opportunity. In a crisis, be aware of the danger, but recognize the opportunity. You can choose what you want to do with this time. I know for a lot of people, the uncertainty of not having control, but really, we might not control the pandemic. We might not control the elections results, but we can control what we choose to do with this time. You can focus on the positive actions you can take to make yourself feel better. You can choose what you can do during the pandemic. And that in itself helps you feel less worried. Number 3, and I know we talked about this, but I mentioned it a few times, but take care of yourself. Some of the things you can do to take care of yourself is to exercise. Exercise is a great stress reliever. Even if you're inside the house, there are lots of great exercises videos on YouTube, or you can walk outside wearing a mask. Eating healthy food boosts your immune system and keeps your mood more stable. This is really a great time to learn to cook healthier meals. Number 4, focus on the present moment and express gratitude. When you focus on the present moment and look at your life, you probably have a lot to be grateful for. And I just want you to take a moment now and just look around you. Look around your office, look around your house, wherever you are, look around you. What are some of the things that are you grateful for? And even if you think you don't have anything to be grateful for, you're still here. You're still here. You got a pulse, okay? You got a pulse. You got this. I am going to, you can switch it now, Aisha, to number 21. And I know these are all, I'm going to take a pause here before we get into our last one. But I know these are all things very easy to say, but not easy to do. This is also when I talk about, people tell me, well, it's really hard to exercise. And I know I have to do it. And I say, no, it's exercise. People know they have to exercise. It's common sense, but it's not common practice. And all the things that I say here, I know it's easy to say, but not easy to do. And really, when we go through life challenges, we have to stand for something that will help us through the difficulties. I developed an affirmation, and you can do number 24. I developed an affirmation, and I love affirmation. I also love mantra. And I developed this one using the first letters of my name as a reminder of what I stand for, because it helps me to manage my own fear and uncertainty by choosing to be in a joyful state of mind. I'm going to show you mine, and then after that, we're going to go into, you can create your own, whatever works for you. So for me, as you can see, Aisha, do you have the slide? I can't see it somehow. Hold on. Yeah, okay, good. Sorry. So for me, L, my name is Luz, L-U-Z. L is for love. He who dwells on love dwells on God. Love yourself enough to spend time to get to know yourself better. Love yourself enough to take care of yourself. I have a ritual. I walk every single day for at least 30 to 40 minutes. And that gives me an opportunity to look and enjoy the small things, even the sound of a bird that a lot of people take for granted. It also gives me peace, both mentally and emotionally. Love yourself enough to disconnect from this fearful world. You is unstoppable. Fear can make us or break us. Life is hard, okay? Life is hard. No one said it was going to be easy. People who go and grow through life challenges don't stop until they win or they succeed. You is from unstoppable. Z is for zero tolerance. Zero tolerance. I have zero tolerance for stress, distraction, zero tolerance for anything or anyone that steals my peace of mind. Zero tolerance. Someone said this. I remember one time I was watching this person speak. I forgot his name. One of these motivational speeches that I like to hear sometimes. And this person said, "I don't take a phone call unless it makes me happy or it makes me money." I'm still learning that one, but you get the point. Zero tolerance for stress. So, and those are the things. And I memorize my affirmation, and like I said, I use it as a mantra, and it keeps me as a reminder of the things that I stand for. So why don't we now, I will invite you now to create your own affirmations using the first letters of your names. And so you can use whatever resonates with you. And we can spend the next, I guess, few minutes doing that. Aisha?
No worries. So if you could write it in the chat, and we're going to skip through if you are at a loss of words to represent your letters. We'll skip through to give you some suggestions for some of the letters. Okay? And if you want to share in the chat box, you can share some of the affirmations that you come up with using the letters of your name. So here we go.
I would like to see what you come up with. And thank you, Aisha. I forgot to mention that. So again, these are just some letters, and you can create your own. This is just to give you an idea or what are, you know, some examples that you can create.
I like some of these words like humdinger. That's nice.
You can go back and forth and just that way they can see it. But again, you know, you can use, this is just some suggestions, but please feel free to use the ones that resonates with you.
And I see somebody already put in the chat box.
Oh, I can't wait to see it.
Her name is Joan. Hi, Joan. And for Joan's word is joyous.
Joyous, beautiful, joyous, yeah.
And I see.
So what are some of the things that, and also I like to, so what are some of the things, Joyce, that you want to do to make sure that you continue with the joy? So this is some of the things that when you choose your own word, okay, what are some of the things that I commit myself, as I remind myself, I'm a joyous person. What are some of the things that I can do that is going to bring me joy?
I see Patty says P for positive.
P for positive, beautiful. And that goes against what are some of the things that you are going to commit to or remind yourself to do that is going to bring some positivity in your life. And again, it can be something very simple, such as, you know what, today I'm going to go for a walk. That's a positive thing. Today I'm going to tell someone thank you for something that they did nice to me. These are all little positive things that we just kind of add more to your beautiful positivity affirmation.
Adrian says A for able.
Able, beautiful. Able to walk, able to breathe. It sounds like a thankful. Also, in a way, I'm able to walk, I'm able to breathe, I'm able to eat, I'm able to have a house. I am thankful.
And then the other Patty says Patty playful. Oh, Patty spelled her name. Patty playful, awesome. Try, time for myself, youthful in mind. Spell Patty. I like it.
I like it, playful. You know, that's something that we also forget to do as we get older, you know, and we gain our lives get full of responsibility. We forget to actually be playful and do things that enjoy because we get so absorbed with responsibility, stress, and everything. So just to remind yourself, what are some of the things that I can do that can be playful? It can just be playing games and doing fun things. Good.
Shauna Lee says C for cheerful.
Cheerful. That's great to be, especially now in this unprecedented time, especially now in this fearful time. It's good to remain cheerful, of course.
Shauna Lee is always playful, cheerful.
That's great. That's
Always.
good. And you know, because when you choose to remain cheerful, life is still going to be hard, but in a way, you remain positive. You remain positive, and you are more. As you remain positive, you look at the world in a different way, more positive. Yeah.
So if anybody else wants to share in the chat box what your affirmations letters are corresponding with the letters of your name. I see Powell for proud.
That's great. Proud. It's amazing because even when you remain proud of things that you do, even I tell people, my clients, because sometimes life can be very, very hard. I have clients I deal with a lot of it, depression, anxiety, and there are days that they don't even feel like getting up the bed. And I say, today you got up and you took a shower. Be proud of that. Be proud of that. It's great. Your small achievements, yes.
I like it. I like that a lot.
It's great. And even do things that make you proud as well. What are some of the things that you did today? Maybe just, again, simple things that just I make myself a nice, healthy dinner. I'm proud of that. I call a friend I haven't talked to in a very long time. I'm proud of that. I read a book. I started reading a book. I started working on this project. I'm proud of that. Right.
I see another person, their letter is J for joyful.
Yeah, it's great. Joyful. Again, when you remain in a joyful state, you're more likely to be less disturbed and affected by what's going on.
So I came up with one for my whole name, like you did.
Oh, well, let me hear it.
Going back through the letters as I was going back through them.
Uh-huh.
I have A for amazing, I for intuitive, S for sarcastic, H for humorous, and A for awesome.
It's great. I love it. Awesome. Amazing, inquisitive, sarcastic, humorous. Beautiful. It's really nice. And so as you go through your day, what are some of the things that you're going to do to remind yourself that you're an amazing person, that you're humorous, that you're awesome?
Definitely going to continue telling my sarcastic jokes.
Yeah, good. And by the way, laughter is a great, great stress reliever. I know it's hard to find, it's hard to laugh. It's hard right nowadays, but really, laughter is medicine, medicine for the soul. And when you laugh more often, you tend to release stress. It's very good.
I see Rafi says R for rowing with life. Row,
Right.
row, row your boat.
Yeah. And that's one thing when you actually rowing with life, you learn to be adaptable because life is never this way. Unfortunately, I hate to tell you guys this, life goes up and down, up and down, sometimes up, sometimes in the middle. So the more you're adaptable to those changes, the better you're going to be able to, the better you'll feel in a way because you tend to adapt to changes.
And Shauna Lee says laughter is good medicine.
Laughter is good medicine. Very good.
And we have Danny who said, Danny for determined, adventurous, never give up, and inventive, like creative.
Beautiful. I love that. Determined. Yeah. People who are determined, they succeed.
Very, very, very determined.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And Rafit says he came up with the rowing with light because he thought of something that he can use when he's feeling stressed out and paralyzed.
Right. I'm glad that it was helpful. Thank you, Rafis. Very good.
This was fun.
I'm glad that, thank you so much for participating. And like I mentioned, as you use your, those words to describe your name, it will help you in a way to think about, okay, if I choose the word, let's say if you see the word determined, right? When you are confronted with life, with some uncertainty or with some, I don't know why I keep thinking sacrifice, but when you're confronted with some challenges, you can actually say to yourself, I am determined. I am determined to get through this. Just like I mentioned, for me, I have zero tolerance. Every time I feel stressful, I'm like, I have zero tolerance for stress. So what I need to do to make myself feel better. So these are some of the things that serves as a reminder. And so now, before we close, I have two things I want to go over real quick to see if you have any questions, but also I just want to go over some of the concerns that people had at the beginning. I kind of took some notes, didn't write down everything, but I just go over real quick. I just want to make sure that we kind of address it a little bit and see if people still have some questions. I know that someone mentioned uncertainty about the future, and I kind of talk about a little bit about when people, the uncertainty is a lot of what if and negative thoughts. So one of the things when you worry about your future, just try to be mindful that you're in the future, not in the present moment. So when you redirect your energy to the present moment, you know, again, we might have lost a lot of material things, but when you start counting your blessings, and that help you focus right now, the things that you have. And because like, again, sometimes we start thinking, oh my God, what if I do get virus? What if I get sick? But right now you're not sick. And you can't, you know, what is under your control? You cannot prevent the virus, but you can have some control how you choose to protect yourself by wearing a mask, you know, by staying 6 feet away. So these are the things that are under your control. What else? I know people talk about, you know, adjusting to the new normal. Yes, this is really, really hard time, but again, crisis also stands for opportunity. And what is in your control? What can you do now to help you create? Think about it this in a way, this is the new normal, right? Now you have power, control how you want to create this new normal. How do you choose to move forward? So when we think about, like, we have options and we have power, it doesn't seem as anxious as we imagine to be, because we have control. And I think that's some of the things. I don't know if anyone has any questions, any concerns, any questions about what I've covered, any final comments?
Someone says that they're just like to look at this as if it is the new normal.
And like I said before, I don't know what your question is. I guess he just decided to look at this as new normal. Is that okay? Yeah. Okay. So it's not really a question. It's just like you're thinking, just look at this as, yeah, it's a new normal, because really we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen a year from now. I mean, if you asked me, we'll be here a year ago, I would be like, there's no way. And as a matter of fact, when the whole country shut down, I was like, oh, there's no way we can shut down for more than 2 weeks. You know, America loves money too much. There's no way. And and here we are months later. So it's just having to adjust in a way. I can't focus on what's going on, but I can, you know, the pandemic, I just can focus, what can I do? What are some of the things that are within my control? I remain to sleep well, to sleep at least 8 hours a day, rested, eat healthy food, do my walk, exercise, pray. Those are the things that are on my control.
Someone says, thanks for reminding us to care for ourselves.
Mm.
And someone says, this is the first time during the day when I've taken time to embrace self care. Thank you, Aisha and Luz.
Thank you. I'll be
Another
here.
comment is, um, thrive to survive. Every day, accomplish something positive,
Mhm.
and do one thing every day that makes you happy.
Yeah, that's great. And that's all you can do. I started with all the changes, I started one day at a time. Now I'm one breath at a time. If I'm breathing, that means I'm still here. And I'm just taking a break, you know, I'm taking a break. Just whatever goes, it goes. Whatever happens, happens. I continue to do what is under my control. That's what I can do.
Someone says this was a beautiful presentation, very practical for the next 24 hours and during this difficult, hurting time in our country. Thank you, Aisha and Luz. And
Thank
that was from Rafi. Someone says, thank you for sharing your story. And another person says, thank you for reminding us to take time and breathe. It's a great thing when feeling stressed or overwhelmed.
you. And just having that little breathing meditation will
Mhm.
help you. Because one of the things when it benefits of meditation and breathing is like you can't breathe into the future. You have to breathe into the present moment. So when we're feeling overwhelmed, it's always about something happening in the future.
Mhm.
And it's never about if there's something happening in the future or we are depressed about something that happened in the past. But it's never really right now, right now. So the breathing, the meditation, helping remember just to breathe, take a break, it help you to be mindful of the present moment right now. And this is again, we're in crisis. I'm not gonna lie to you. These are difficult times. So the only thing that we can do is remain mindful of the things that we can control and really how our life right now is affected by it right now, right now. And when you focus right now, you realize, well, it's not that bad. See, I'm still here, still here.
And someone says, helping others can be helpful to you.
That's yeah, yes, absolutely correct. Because and also the good thing about helping others, helping you, is because it helps you to get out of your self. Again, when we really stress out, overwhelmed, it's on our head, right? We're constantly worried. So when you're now taking that worry out and start to focus your attention to someone else, it helps you feel less stress. Correct. Yes. And you also feel good that you did that you did an act of kindness. Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Luz.
Oh, my pleasure. And just so you know, I just want to like just mention it. I do have further resources available. I do have a group. It's a 4 weeks group when we go into more details. It's called Embracing Uncertainty. And as a matter of fact, I created this group a few months ago. And I do it every 4 weeks to start with new group of people. I also have a workbook, which has a lot of information. It's called Embracing Uncertainty. For those of you who are interested in that workbook, I'm happy to give it to you for free. All you have to do is email me your email address and I'll send you the link to download it. And the other thing that right there is my information in case you have any questions and would like to continue the conversation. Thank you so much. It was really my pleasure. Thank you. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much for just being with us. And I think this was, I think a few weeks ago, we recognized what date we had this training schedule. And the both of us were like, oh no, maybe we should change it. Maybe we should switch it. Maybe this is not an appropriate day for this. But I think it couldn't have been held on a more appropriate day when I think a lot of us are just going through not only everything for the past few months, but the anxiety of the uncertainty of the moment. So thank you so much for hosting this for us. I see a lot of people saying thanks in the chat box. Someone said thank you for your time and for what you do. And someone else said thank essential workers. And I know, Luz, that you are a very essential worker during this time. You're one of the invisible essential workers that people don't recognize is being impacted very much by what everybody else is going through. So thank you for everything that you're doing.
And that is what's so important to serve as a reminder to all of us that it's really important to take care of ourselves because we can't really help other people if we cannot really help ourselves first. I know it sounds a little bit selfish, but really there's nothing selfish about taking care of yourself because the more you take care of yourself, the happier you will be. And the happier you will be, then the more happy you will be to help other people.
So thank you guys for being with us. Thanks for being so interactive in the chat box. I always appreciate that because sometimes, as a presenter myself, it can sometimes feel as if you're just talking to a blank screen. So I always enjoy when there are people communicating and having discussion like they did today in the chat box. I would love if you guys could complete the community training. I will be sending this out through email in the next few weeks. But if you want to go ahead and just complete it right now while we're here, you can just take out your smartphone if you have your smartphone on you, and you can open your camera and just actually scan the QR code on the screen, and that will take you right to the survey, and you can let us know what you thought of today's training. Or if you want, this will be sent out through email as well in the next upcoming weeks. If anybody that attended the training today is interested in receiving CEUs, if you're a licensed clinician, please feel free to send me an email at amcdonald. I forgot my own email for a minute. At amcdonald@unitedwaybroward.org. If you are a licensed clinician, I will upload your license number if you send that in the email to CE Broker so that it can be recorded. And if anyone needs certificates for attending today, you can go ahead and send me that email as well, and I'll make sure that you receive your certificate. So again, my email address is in the chat box. It is amcdonald@unitedwaybroward.org. You also have it in your confirmation emails that you were sent for today's training. And if you can just go ahead, and if you'd like to just complete the community training survey right now, you can go ahead and scan the QR code on the screen, or I'll be emailing you in a few weeks. So thank you all so much, and I'll just leave that on the screen so that everybody can do it. And thank you, Luz.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you all. Okay.